Good afternoon, guys. Today is March 30th, day 5 of our quarantine. Hey guys, good afternoon. Happy March 30th. It's almost April. So I wanted to, first, we're going to read our story. There's a couple of things. First, there's a couple of national holidays today. And one I really wanted to hit on was today is National I Am in Control Day. Because I know it seems like with all this distance learning and this craziness that seems to be going on, it's a very stressful time. But it is going to be okay. We're going to get through it together. So we are in control. We've got this, right? Second, it is National Pencil Day. So use a pencil all day long to celebrate National Pencil Day. And it is Virtual Vacation Day. So, along with your learning, today is your last day off before we start our distance learning, is go on a virtual vacation somewhere. Go watch, I know on our Facebook group, there's a lot of links to aquariums that are offering different things, and so you can go and just have a virtual vacation. Another thing I wanted to mention is I have posted a schedule on our Facebook. So if you guys could go on and choose a time that works best for you. I want to be able to have a 15 to 30 minute time so we can communicate, whether it's with you and your parent, or if it's parent watching, a parent and your child, but just so we can kind of debrief. We can talk about how you're doing. You can share with me what you've been learning. Just that one-to-one piece we're missing through learning at home. I also found for our class conference call, we're going to have one at 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. I will be there at 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. You are not required. If you can join us, join us. If you can't, don't. It is okay. There will be one every day of the week, except for Saturday and Sunday. So don't feel stressed like, oh, I'm going to miss it. It's going to be okay. We're just going to kind of have like we'll call it an evening meeting. So we can think of some cute names to go. What are we going to call it? So we can just talk about how we're feeling, what we're doing, just kind of debrief on the day. All right, but let's go ahead. Let's get started. I've missed you guys the past 2 days. I am ready to start our distance learning. I'm a little nervous. I'm really good with technology and I love using technology, but I'm a little worried on how this is going to go. You will have, almost forgot to tell you this, I am not the only one that's going to be grading your stuff. So you will be in the class or the course with all of 3rd grade. What that means is that each of our 3rd grade teachers will all kind of be your teachers. So instead of just having one teacher like you had me, now you're going to have 9. It's crazy. It's a lot of teachers. So we ask that when you're going through the course and if you have questions, to put the questions on the course. And there's this awesome box. It's in the intro bit that you'll hopefully get to tonight. They said that they should be to all students tonight, so you can kind of look on it, get a little preview. There's a course questions. And if you write in there, you write a question, I can answer it, Ms. G can answer it, Ms. Soulier, Ms. Stein, any of our teachers can answer it, but others can see that question. So instead of just messaging me or calling me, you can put it on there. All right? But our story for the Great Treehouse War. So our chapter today is Plenty of Peaches. One day before what had happened. Happy Peach Cobbler Day, Winifred. Winnie clutched the giant book Squeezy had loaned her to her chest and looked around her dad's living room. Most normal people who wanted to celebrate Peach Cobbler Day, she thought, which was probably not a lot of people, would maybe bake one peach cobbler and leave it at that. So she is at, I missed it to say, her dad's house. Winnie's dad was definitely not a normal person. What do you think? He asked Winnie. A giant peach-colored banner spanned one whole wall with "Hooray for Peach Cobbler Day!" printed in enormous scrawly letters. When Winnie often wondered if her parents alone were responsible for keeping the local banner printing shop in business. What with the number of orders they made each week? From every corner of the room, her dad had sprung up round peach balloons and had even added green pipe cleaners to look like peach stems. This must have taken him all day. There were peach streamers and a peach piñata. On the entry table by the door, peach soda filled a punch bowl large enough to serve 40 people. And all around it sat peach-shaped cookies, cupcakes with peach frosting, and several bowls of gummy peaches. It's a lot of peaches. Very peachy, Winnie replied. Then she cleared her throat, gearing up for the serious conversations she knew they needed to have. Dad, can I talk to you about something? Mr. B told me today that... Peachy, that's a good one, Winifred. Well, your mother sent me photos of your Winston Churchill celebration on Monday, and I knew I had to top it. Come in, Winnie's dad urged. No time to lose. We have 8 hours and... He checked the clock. 22 minutes until Peach Cobbler Day ends. Wait until you see what's in the kitchen. Before Winnie could get in another word, her dad scuttled off to the kitchen. Luckily, Buttons, the world's greatest cat, slid through the door behind her then, clearly sensing that he was needed. Winnie set down Squeezy's book and scooped him up, nestling her chin in his soft orange fur. Good to see you, she whispered. Buttons purred back. Together they followed Winnie's dad into the kitchen. Winnie had seen a lot of weird things in the past year, during her parents' unusual holiday celebrations. The life-size mummy her mom crafted for King Tut Day, the trays and trays of incredible glob her dad had prepared for Moldy Cheese Day. Ew. And the full-scale recreation of a post office for Thank a Mailman Day. Even a laser show for Stuffed Mushroom Day. That had been especially weird. But nothing had prepared Winnie for what she saw when she and Buttons stepped into the kitchen that Thursday. The floor, the entire kitchen floor, was covered with baking pans, each at least 5 feet wide. Barrels of peaches were crammed into every corner and tabletop, and what little room remained was crowded with enormous bags of flour and sugar, tubs of butter, and jugs of milk. We're making the world's largest cobbler, her father announced, from his perch on one of the kitchen chairs. There was nowhere else to stand. Well, sort of, he frowned. The largest was over 11 feet long, and I couldn't find an oven that big on such short notice. But the pizza place across the town said if we can get them these pans by 10 p.m., they'll bake them in their pizza ovens. And based on sheer volume, our cobbler will definitely trounce the record. I bought these oil drip pans off the auto body shop, brand new, of course. Smart, right? He tapped the side of his head. Bet your mother never would have thought of that. Now, help me make the batter. The peaches are already skinned. We just need to slice them. Whew, sounds like he is ready for a very intense evening. From the doorway, Winnie cleared her throat, not quite sure what she wanted to say first. When did you have time to skin all these peaches? This was what she landed on, peering into the nearest barrel. There's got to be hundreds of them. 782, her father commented. I had my intern at the lab do it. You should have heard him whine about it. Not even close to my job. Blah, 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 blah. Balancing on one foot, Winnie's dad reached across to the cupboard. To work, he told Winnie, handing her a mixing bowl. We have tons to celebrate. Winnie shifted Buttons to one arm and took the bowl. Okay, but Dad, before all the celebrating, can I talk to you about my grades? I need to work on this local history report. It's really important, and I need lots of time to do it. Mr. B said I really have to focus on... Oh, your teacher tried to talk to me about all this. Winnie's father waved the discussion away. But you can bring your grades up on your Mother's Day, which I'm sure are dreadfully boring anyway, right? You wouldn't want to miss a celebration like Peach Cobbler Day. Not after I went to all this trouble just for you. He lifted a barrel and dumped a load of peaches into a cutting board. Slimy skinned fruit rolled across the table, bouncing into trays on the floor. Here, grab the knife, would you? But, listen, Winifred, I have something I need to talk to you about. Some very exciting news. Winnie nestled her chin deep in Button's soft fur. We'll figure it out, she whispered to him, because she could tell from his purse he was worried about her. About my grades. Even if she couldn't work on her local history report that afternoon, even if her mom ended up being just as unreasonable about things as her dad was, which Winnie had to admit was likely. Winnie always had Wednesday. There were 2 left before the report was due. That wasn't a lot of time to finish something so important. But Winnie knew she could do it, if she really tried. If she spent every single second of those 2 Wednesdays focusing on nothing but the report. Winifred, her father said, slicing the first peach, did you hear me? About the exciting news? Oh, Winnie said. Right. She plopped Buttons down behind her in the hallway and kicked away one of the enormous cobbler pans so she could pick her way across the floor. Is it about peaches? She asked, joining her dad at the kitchen table. In fact, he replied, sending a peach pit flying as he chopped. This news is even more exciting than peaches. He puffed out his chest in suspense, his eyes sparkling. I have been asked, he told Winnie, to join the team researching the potential medical properties of the feces of the lesser prairie chicken. Winnie slowly worked through her dad's last sentence. To join the team researching the potential medical properties of the feces of the lesser prairie chicken. She knew that feces meant poop. Ew, Winnie, you definitely can't write about poop in a memoir twice. But that's what happened. Winnie has to write down what happened. Squeezy. Poop, Logan. Oh, David, if you're watching this, I bet that would be your response too. And lesser prairie chicken sounded like a sort of bird. You're going to study bird poop? She asked her dad. Then she remembered that she was supposed to be excited. Wow, she added. I mean, congrats. Thank you, her dad said. And then he frowned at Winnie, like he thought she might be thinking something she shouldn't be thinking. You do know the lesser prairie chicken isn't a chicken, right? It's a grouse. Oh, Winnie hadn't known that. What she wanted to ask was why anyone would put the word chicken in a bird's name if the bird was not, in fact, a chicken. That does seem like a dumb thing to do, Lyle. But instead, she simply said, cool. It is cool, her dad agreed. He had a huge smile. It's a very prestigious position. Much more prestigious than any project your mother has worked on. Another peach pit went flying. We leave for Kansas on June 10th. From the doorway, Buttons let out an angry meow. What did you say? Winnie asked her dad. June 10th, her dad repeated, still chopping. My colleagues will be heading up to set up the facility next month. I told them we'd need to wait until June 10th to join them. Your teacher seemed awfully insistent that you couldn't leave until the school year ended, even for something as exciting as assisting me in my research. But don't worry, we'll have plenty of time in the field. We'll be there all summer. Do you think this is something Winnie would be excited about? I don't know, you'll have to let me know. Winnie dodged the peach pit that threatened to take out her left eye. He needs to stop throwing these peach pits. All summer? She shrieked. In Kansas? Researching chicken poop? If Winnie spent the whole summer in Kansas, she'd miss Lyle's epic pool party, which he agreed to throw on a Wednesday so Winnie could come. She'd miss Wednesday afternoons at the roller rink with her friends and breezy Wednesday mornings doodling on her treehouse porch. She'd miss Wednesday night sleepovers at Squeezy's and snuggling in her beanbag with Buttons on Wednesday evenings, watching the stars above them. But her dad didn't seem to care about any of that. They're grouse, he corrected her, not chickens. He was back to frowning. And I thought you'd be much more excited about assisting me in my research. Your mother has never offered you such an opportunity. By the end of the summer, you'll be the #1 feces collector on the team. Ew, Greta. Ugh, poor Winnie. At that, Buttons couldn't contain himself. Meow, he growled, leaping into Winnie's arms. Winnie did her best to comfort him, but she was feeling pretty upset herself. Dad, she said calmly as she could, can't we just talk for 1 second? That's when her dad's cell phone started to ring, cutting Winnie off. The ringtone was the Wicked Witch theme from The Wizard of Oz. What on earth does your mother want? Her ringtone is Wicked Witch song from Wizard of Oz. That's so mean. Winnie's dad asked, snatching the phone from under a sack of flour. White powder puffed across the kitchen. Alexis, Winnie's dad snarled into the phone. I wish you wouldn't call during my day with... No, Alexis, I do not think. No, honestly, I was not trying to. And then he paused. He glanced at Winnie and Buttons, who were now encrusted in a thin layer of flour. Actually, he said slowly, I think that might just work out wonderfully. Would you like to tell her? Winnie's dad handed Winnie the phone. Hello, Winnie said, Buttons squirming in her floury arms, like he just knew Winnie's mom wasn't about to say anything good. Winifred, she said quickly, don't worry, I've solved the problem. The problem? Winnie asked. When your father takes you to Kansas this summer, you'll be missing all of your Sundays, Tuesdays, and Fridays with me. 37 days in total. You haven't done the math? Winnie didn't tell her mom that she hadn't even thought about missing Sundays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. She'd only been worried about Wednesdays. But what she said was, oh, that's a lot of days. She darted her eyes toward her dad, who was gleefully tossing peach slices in a bowl. I guess I can't go after all then. Too bad. I was really looking forward to all that chicken poo. Grouse poop, her dad corrected, without looking up from his peaches. Buttons let out an annoyed meow. No need to skip it, Winnie's mom said on the other end of the phone. Uh-oh, I feel like there's not a good plan coming. I've come up with a wonderful alternative. Since you'll be missing 37 of my days this summer, you'll just spend the next 37 Wednesdays with me. There are 9 before you set off for that dreadful trip to Kansas with your father, which leaves up the 28 to make up after you start 6th grade. That'll take you all the way into March. You won't need to spend another Wednesday by yourself in that awful treehouse for nearly a year. Isn't that wonderful? Buttons was leaving flowery paw prints all over Winnie's favorite black shirt, as she frantically trying to send her a message. But even without the world's greatest cat to alert her, Winnie knew things were desperate. Mom, Winnie said, no, you can't do that. No more Wednesdays for an entire year, even if somehow impossibly Winnie managed to pass 5th grade without her next 2 days in the treehouse. There was no way she could get through 6th grade without them. You can't. I don't think you understand, Winifred, her mother replied, clearly not recognizing the misery in her daughter's voice. It really works out perfectly. And don't tell your father, but there are some amazing holidays coming up on Wednesdays. Why, just this next Wednesday is National Garlic Day. I've already found a recipe for garlic ice cream. Ew. It'll look like it'll be a lot of work on my part, but you're worth the effort, Winifred. I know you're gonna love it. As her mom rattled on about all the exciting Wednesday holidays they now get to enjoy together, Windmill Day, Escargot Day, isn't escargots the snails? Like, that people eat? Joe. Ew! Greta. Lumpy Rug Day? Winnie returned her gaze to her father, whose mound of sliced peaches was quickly growing on the cutting board in front of him. She flicked on her artist vision and watched him chop in the shifted light. The gleeful way he axed the fruit, his shoulders back completely relaxed, the quiet tune he hummed as he worked. He hadn't taken one word she'd said about school, about any of it. He was perfectly happy with his peach cobbler. He'd said that the celebration was for Winnie, but it wasn't. Not an ounce of it. And X-ray day, and square dancing day, and crush a can day, Winnie's mom went on. Through the phone, Winnie did her best to focus her artist vision on her mom. She had to imagine, but the picture was clear. The broad smile as her mom listed new holidays, the easy way her fingers tapped the table while she spoke. Her list of celebration ideas growing longer by the second. Winnie's mom had said she was planning these things for Winnie, but Winnie didn't want her plan, and her mom wasn't listening to her either. Meow, Buttons told Winnie miserably as she hung up the phone, and Winnie couldn't have agreed more. Late that night, after swallowing down more peach cobbler than should legally be allowed, Winnie tucked herself into her bed in the back bedroom of her father's house. Buttons snuggled himself in beside her, but she could tell just by his purrs he was as unsettled as she was. Figure something out, she told him, but she didn't really believe it. In between yawns, Winnie pried open the covers of the enormous book Squeezy had loaned her, Understanding Embassies and Consulates, and read the chapter Squeezy had bookmarked. Her brain fuzzy with tiredness and worry, Winnie didn't understand at first what the words meant, or what they had to do with her local report or her treehouse. But just as she was about to set the book down for good and get some sleep, Winnie noticed something unusual. A folded up piece of paper half glued to the back cover of the book with orange juice. Winnie peeled the paper free. It was a letter from Squeezy's dad to the town mayor, who just happened to be Asha's mom. A letter about Winnie's treehouse. A letter Winnie had never been meant to read. I still can't believe this all started because of a little orange juice stuck to a letter. Asha, I know. My dad says we're never allowed to drink orange juice in our house ever again. Squeezy. Makes me wonder what's on that letter. Winnie read it. As she read it, a thought began to bloom in Winnie's mind. The thought was small at first, like a seed. But by the time she woke up the next morning, that letter still clutched tight in her hand. The thought had bloomed, huge like a sunflower, and suddenly Winnie knew precisely what she needed to do. Ooh, all right, and that leaves us on the letter, but we read a lot today, so I'm going to leave that till tomorrow. And it's actually, so we read the letter. There's actually a couple letters here. Some notes. And then we have the day what happened. So we get to find out what happened. We're getting pretty far in our book. That's how much we have read. Still got a lot to go. So thank you for listening. Again, I want to celebrate a National I'm in Control Day, National Pencil Day, National Virtual Vacation Day, and it's actually Take a Walk in the Park Day too. So I don't know if you know this, but I have a calendar. It is the national days, celebrate every day. So it tells me what national holidays are on our day. So it tells me what's going on today. Sometimes I read them all, sometimes I don't, but there's a lot of good holidays going on today. But anyway, have a good night, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Have a great day.